Are we learning anything in the development game? Are the government of Canada or the Ontario government figuring anything out?
No, they're all pretty useless. Really.
The Todd Shapiro Show.
Our dragon and our legend, Brad Lamb. How you doing, Brad? See that?
That's such bullshit.
No, dude, I like you. No, man. I'm like, because you teach me every fucking week, bro. Every week I sit here and I go, I learned something new. And you know what? The older you get, it's kind of hard to learn stuff new from other people. Like, you can go and find it out on your own, I find. But I actually really mean that. Yeah. Like, does anyone teach you anything, or do you go and figure it out for yourself? Anything?
No. No one teaches me anything.
No, seriously, you.
Nobody knows anything. Okay. Seriously, nobody knows anything.
So extrapolate.
Well, people pretend like they know things. I mean, listen, I sat next to probably the fifth smartest man in the world from a physics standpoint on a Porter flight to New York. He's one of the gentlemen that runs the think tank, the physics think tank in Waterloo. The one that was set up by I forget the guy's name, the guy that was the founder of BlackBerry. Not the sales guy, the super smart guy.
Okay.
What was his name? I can't remember.
I forget it too.
Anyway,
I don't know anything.
This guy was like, I'm an engineer. I took a lot of pretty advanced physics. This guy was on another level. This guy knew stuff.
Well, Mike, is that who you're talking? Mike Lazaridis?
Mike Lazaridis was the guy that founded it. He set it up, and then he went off and he grabbed all these world-class brains and brought them to Canada. And it's one of the premier physics think tanks. It's theoretical physics. It's all about the origins. Another home run. All the origins of space. It was a pretty amazing guy, pretty smart guy, and guys like that know stuff. But most people don't know.
They don't.
anything.
They don't. Well, I'll personalize it a little bit. I get sad sometimes that I don't know a lot of stuff. Sometimes, and it's a nature of my job. Because I have to know a lot of little facts about a lot of different types of people, kind of like a chameleon, really. From, interviewing comedians to businessmen to real estate developers to athletes so I find out little tidbits of information. And it actually, like, sometimes I question myself. And I think this is a product on how a lot of people are ending up because of sort of social media and ADHD generation and all this kind of stuff. I never, other than like the microphone is my focus. There wasn't really a focus or a career path. And I'm wondering if like, are we getting away from that even more? Like, where people will actually evolve within their own field over a generation, as opposed to, just learning about a bunch of different little things.
Yeah, man, we have an educational crisis. Like, even this may not count as education, but people don't read books at all anymore. And you can talk to a lot of people that you'd meet who are between 16 and 30, and ask them if they read The Catcher in the Rye. It's not the most important book in the world, but it's a book. No. Have you read The Pearl? What's The Pearl? Right? No. You could list, the 200 most important books for people to read, and very doubtful if they've read 2 or 3.
I'll tell you what's funny for me is that having my child, Brad Lamb, is allowing me to like kind of relearn things, like as simple as the dinosaurs, like the different types of dinosaurs. And I think that's an important thing, because people are having kids younger and we're always kind of reteaching themselves, and we're growing up in the process and stuff. So I also think that's one thing, as we're waiting longer in life, you forget a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from the dinosaur train.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. You know that show?
No, I don't know.
Jim Henson's company. Okay. He's dead now, but I think Disney bought it. And it's a cartoon called The Dinosaur Train, and it teaches you everything about dinosaurs. And my kid loves dinosaurs.
So that stuff's cool, right?
I actually know a lot about dinosaurs, but I'm learning more of the esoteric dinosaurs that I wasn't aware existed.
So we're learning from our children.
We are.
Is what we're getting at. Are we learning anything in the development game? Are the government of Canada or the Ontario government figuring anything out?
No, they're all pretty useless. Really. I don't even know where to start with all that stuff. It's so depressing. Honest to God, who runs for politics and how do they get elected? It's like, do you need any criteria to get elected? Do you have to have done anything in your life to get elected?
I think you got to be a loudmouth. Well, you got to be a well-liked guy, right? Or lady. Like ultimately, like in politics, you people help you with policy. You have a team of people who tell you what to say before you go up on a podium and say it. I think you just got to be a likable person, honestly, for maybe the right or wrong reasons.
Right. Remember I told you that thing about the city revoking or not issuing my lane closure permit?
Yes. And they used you as a scapegoat.
Yeah. Well, we resolved all that. After, we had a nasty meeting. In the end, it worked out okay.
Oh, good.
I only lost $100,000. I don't know. That's
just
nothing,
$100,000.
Right? Just
yeah,
$100,000 lit on fire.
A couple years for me. Okay.
Yeah. I would like the $100,000 in my pocket too.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's amazing, sitting in a room with people who, I'll tell you that the strange dichotomy that is Toronto with our traffic situation, right? So, this is a traffic mayor, John Tory, and we have a traffic problem, and I believe the traffic problem relates to cars, right? Cars. So, would the goal be to get cars off the road? Do you think maybe get the cars off the road? Is that important?
It would make sense to me.
Okay.
Yep.
So, if you're building condominiums in the downtown core, would it not be wiser for the city to advocate for less parking in the buildings, so less cars are on the road?
Yes.
Okay.
So you would buy a condo and at torontocondos.com, and then you would maybe not have a spot for it, so it would encourage you to use the Uber services or the TTC and the stuff
God
like that.
forbid your fucking feet and you walk somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
or a bike. Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, so here's the thing.
Never thought about that.
I'm proposing a fantastic tower at the corner, right close to the corner of Spadina and Richmond's called the James, or just called James.
Okay.
And there are 4 parking stalls and 129 units, and we're almost sold out of the building. Nobody fucking wants parking. They don't want parking. They don't have cars. They don't need it. That's a good thing, right? The city, number one objection with me is I don't have enough parking.
That's very peculiar.
The traffic mayor, you'd think, would enact some kind of powerful measures to at least lead the moral charge. I know he's not a dictator in council. He's just one vote. But lead the moral charge and say, hey, people, this sounds asinine. Why are we stopping developers from building units or buildings with no parking if they don't need it?
Why do they care? Like if you could sell the condos despite not having, why do they even need to get into that one? That's weird to me.
Well, why do they care?
Do they make money off your parking?
No, it's not about money. It's about being stubborn and not willing to look into the future. They have a rule book. You build a 1-bedroom, you need 0.5 parking or whatever it is.
Can I interrupt this interview?
Yeah.
What is going on with Bilal? Are you dying over there? No, can you go talk in a mic? Grab Mark Damona.
Take it.
Yeah, you're embarrassing me.
You guys
What's
can't
going
hear
on
my
with you?
coughing on air. I'm just coughing in the corner.
No, but you look like you're fainting. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe the headphones are too tight on my head. I'll figure it out.
You don't have any headphones in your head.
Yeah.
No, I took them off to.
What's going on with you? Honestly, are you having like a nervous breakdown? I'm worried for you.
I just have a little bit of a cough fit. I'm all right.
But your head, you're pointing to your head. You're like rubbing your. Sorry, Brad.
I'm just trying to minimize the audio interruption. That's all.
What is going on? Like, are you all right? Like, do you need
I had Burger King for lunch. It wasn't a good idea.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Burger King.
Well, man, I swear to God, you're distracting me. Sorry, Brad. Do you ever do that? Like you're in a big meeting and there's a couple guys acting like just taken away from your focus. And
It's okay. Nobody listens to me anyway.
Okay. No, your employees must listen and you pay them.
Not much.
No,
They don't do anything I tell them to do.
Well, what would you tell them to do? What aren't they doing right? You want me to get to them?
Get me lunch.
Okay.
I want lunch.
Hey, speaking of which, one of my bosses, because he likes listening, he goes, but whenever he's on, all I'm thinking sometimes with Brad J. Lamb is, what are his receipts like? He's like, he wanted to know what, like, because I have a receipt, and it's, to a Burger King or what's this receipt here? This is actually just 7-Eleven. This is he was like, I wonder what's in Brad's, like, what receipt you have on you today. Do you have a neat receipt on you today?
I have receipt for lunch.
Okay. Where would that be? Somewhere pretty special?
No. Well,
okay.
It's actually a nice restaurant. It's called Ovest.
Okay.
And it's next to my office.
All right.
And I happen to own the building, and they're a tenant of mine, and it's fantastic Italian food.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. Okay.
So I went there.
How many, man, you're tenants to how many people, you figure? How many businesses?
Lots.
In the thousands?
No,
No, okay.
No. I downtown in Toronto, I probably have somewhere around 35 commercial buildings, something like that. Wow. And they're all rented.
They're all right. Okay, they're all rented.
Yeah. So I probably have like 130 commercial tenants.
About 3 per building type of thing. Do you ever do you ever have bad tenants who don't pay bills and stuff?
Yeah, I locked out a tenant today.
Oh, you did? Did you go yourself?
Personally.
Okay, I would have. You're intimidating dude, Brad.
No, we went. Bailiff went there at 5:30 in the morning, and he'd completely cocked up the lock system, so he had to come back at 8:30, which that's when people start to arrive for work. So apparently the secretary arrived for work and opened the door for us and let us in to change the locks and then kick her out.
But they're not paying. Mark, what was your Mark DeMonis? What would be a big hassle you would have this week? A big a headache, something that stressed you out this week?
I was trying to imagine where this building was. Like that was I'm like, okay, like I got off at the wrong stop. It's a lot of little not a tenant issue ever.
I know. I don't know how guys like you do it. Is my point.
You're a comedian, though.
Yeah.
You got to worry about being funny. That's got to cause some stress.
You would think so, but it's like I think the audience doesn't even care anymore. Like it's like they really if they like you, you can really just say whatever you want up there. And when you try and be funny, they're like, "Oh, this guy's trying too hard to be funny." And then when you're not trying, they're like, "Oh, he's not trying, so he's funny." Like it's better not to worry about it. For sure, the more you think about stand up in the world that I'm in, it's like the more it doesn't make sense. So it's best to just kind of let it be and let it grow itself, You
can't do that with any other business.
You look like a guy who kind of likes weed. Am I right?
No, I do get that a lot, but I actually don't smoke.
Really?
I don't smoke at all.
Dude, isn't that one of your bits, actually?
I used to do a joke about how people think I was born with the gift of looking high all the time.
Well, just high. You just look like a laid-back guy that likes
I am
weed.
very laid back. Yeah. I don't mind it. I just don't. I've been considering picking it up, but socially, just to get through social situations I don't want to be in. But no, I don't do it. But I'm not against it though.
That's amazing, man. No, your joke was people were born with the gift of flexibility or a great voice or things, and yours was just looking like you're high without ever smoking weed.
Yeah, I remember in high school, my teacher came up to me and he was like, "Mark, I'm not failing you because you're the biggest pothead in this school. I'm failing you because you just suck at this class." But I was like, my whole life people have thought I was high. I don't know if it's my eyes or how I talk. I don't really know what vibe I'm giving off, but it's out there.
It's a combo of things.
I think it is. Yeah,
it could be the bag of Doritos you're holding.
Yeah. I did grow up with a lot of potheads though, so I did. Someone told me that I picked up all their traits, and then that's just kind of now what I'm projecting into the world.
As long as you never just go talking to people and you're not smoking anything.
Yeah.
Like you're inhaling. Brad, one of the things I never really understood, being a condo owner most of my life and doing well and making money, the condo millionaire, as Brad J. Lamb likes to put it, how everyone can do very well in these investments and learn more about that through Brad J. Lamb's websites at torontocondos.com, is the registration process of a condo. So you'll wait a couple of years for it to be built. And then you'll go in there and you got to pay, I guess, occupancy fees or something, right?
Yeah,
Is that and then it takes some time, and then I'm like, oh, now your mortgage kicks in, or what's going on with that?
This is actually, I think Ryan gave this to you because this is a big pet peeve.
Well, dude, come on! I made it try and seem natural. Okay.
It is a big pet peeve, but I'll tell you why. Because so basically, what happens is when you move into a condo in Ontario, and let's say you owe 85% of the price you paid, the developer calculates a simple interest mortgage on the money you owe them, the 85%, at a very low rate, say 2%. It's a legislated amount. It's very low. And then they add in the monthly condo fees, the monthly taxes, and you pay that until the building can close, where you can get title and close. And what the wait is the city of Toronto, and any city that does this process, has to go through all the minutiae and make sure that developers done everything they said they're going to do, and then they give it a number, a registration number, and then you can get your mortgage or pay your cash or whatever, however you're buying it, and the developer gets his money. So the developer really wants that to happen very quickly.
Sure.
Because they're stuck and they don't get their money out till then. And buyers, imagine that they're pissing money away because they're paying occupancy fees. In reality, it's no different than a mortgage because it's just interest you're paying. So in a normal mortgage, you're paying interest and principal. In this case, you're just paying interest. So you're saving the principal if you're really concerned about that. You just save that extra money that you'd normally pay for principal, put it in the bank, and at the time you close, you've got extra money to pay off. Right. Most people don't think like that, but that's really the solution to it. Anyways, the registration process is completely out of our control. It's in the city's hands, and it's an endlessly frustrating process. It's like a circus to get it done. They ask the same questions. Hey, we want to see this. Well, we gave that to you 3 weeks ago. No, you didn't give it to us. Well, we have an email record that states we gave it to you. It's in this. Oh, you know what? We misplaced that. Sorry. Can you send that again? And then we have to send it again. And it's just now. So it used to take 4 to 5, maybe 6 months. It's now taking a year. I have one building. I've had people living in it for a year and a month.
What happens when does that have any impact when they want to sell it or no?
Well, yeah, they can't sell it during that period either. So they have to just stay there and live in it, which is probably good for them because it prevents people from flipping units and that kind of stuff. But it's terrible for us. I mean, it costs, when it delays like that, we lose millions of dollars.
Yeah, because you're ultimately still borrowing a lot of that money, right?
We owe boatload to the bank, and we still have to pay it.
And there's interest rates that you have on your end and stuff. Yeah, people don't like developers.
No, they don't like developers. They think developers. I think most people think developers are assholes.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because without you guys, we wouldn't be living anywhere.
It's true. I think they think developers are all rich. And that I don't think they appreciate, and I'm not looking for any sympathy from anybody. I don't think they appreciate how incredibly difficult a job this is. Like, it's an extraordinarily difficult job.
And this is how I'll phrase it, because I know a couple of guys who go and do renovations, like buddies of mine. All right, and they're making like $500,000 a year. They're doing 5 homes a year. They're doing quick renos and making a bid on each project and stuff. But the headaches and the hassle that they have, and usually that's just with a couple of trades and a couple of homeowners and a couple of permits. I can't imagine it on the level that you do with the amount of buildings that you do at one time as well. It really, in that perspective, you start to prorate all of that and start to look at it and that people are against you. I mean, you're taking a massive amount of risk. Why don't you just quit? Why don't you just go and live?
Well, I think the thing is that somehow people find the career, eventually they find the career for them. Human beings are incredibly resourceful, smart creatures, right? Compared to anything else here.
Not Americans, right?
Americans do.
No, I know.
Americans do. And so we also
not Indians fans. Sorry. Okay.
We all somehow find what we want to do, and developers end up finding that, and it's a certain personality that does it, and it's a kind of personality that doesn't get burdened by stress and risk, and you can see past that stuff. And it's also not done purely for money. It's done. That's a good thing too, but it's done for the challenge because it's a fucking tough job. Like, every day is a war, and you have to be the kind of person that enjoys that stuff. Like, it's truly a very unique person. I'm not saying it's a great person. It's just a unique person that can manage that. And it's not for everybody. It's a rare breed that would excel at that and want to keep doing it. So the answer is that even though I complain about it, I like it.
Well, and you leave an imprint on cities. You leave, it's an amazing thing, right? You are responsible for architecturally and making a difference in many different cities across this country. And what a neat thing to give back. It really, and actually with many developers, and there's some I'm sure that have been terrible and have ripped people off, so let's leave them out of it. Yeah. But it should be celebrated, really. The way we look, we celebrate such bullshit in this day and age, and I get sick of it too, Brad. I get really fucking sick of it. Radio is one of those industries where people look like, oh, they're good at what they do. They're consistent. They work hard. They promote. I get it. They're smart that way. But you look at an actor that might get one part, and then they just go and celebrate that guy for every Canada's this and Canada's that, and every red carpet here and everything there. And it's like, well, what did they really do other than play one part? And it drives me crazy that we celebrate such mediocrity. And I think when you look at developers such as yourself, this is anything but. Like mediocrity. This is making a fucking difference to thousands and thousands of people and making them money on top of it. I don't know. I'm for you.
Well, that's all very kind. But I'll say this. When you travel around the world,
I just want to ride in your Ferrari. Okay.
Anytime.
Okay.
When you travel around the world and you see the work, like you go down to the World Trade Center and you see what the fucking thing is unbelievable. Like it is, it actually makes you want to cry. It's so fucking good, right? And a man did that. Like one guy was responsible for that. I mean, he didn't design it, but he managed that, right? And you could, there's lots of examples of that. There's so many, like it's when you get it right, when you get building and art in a large scale right, it's so great. It's so good for humanity, you know? So, I mean, like condos, whatever, they're homes, but you can make them in such a way that they make people happy. They make the place they're in better, you know? And I think it is an important job. And so the reason why I like it is because you're right. When I walk by a building I've done and I think it's good, I actually sometimes stand there and go, "Fuck, that's pretty good." You know, that's nice.
You should, dude. You know, and it's an amazing thing. Do you ever? And it leads me into something I want to start doing with you, maybe for fun. But do you invest in other things outside of real estate? Like, do people come and pitch like a dragon? Do people come and Brad's probably got some money and we want to pitch him an idea? Well, you know, whether it's a restaurant or this or that. Do you ever do anything like that?
You know, I auditioned for Dragon's Den.
Well,
did I tell you that?
No, I don't think I know this story.
Yeah, I did.
And because you should be a dragon.
I got to tell you, I wouldn't want to be a dragon.
Too honest.
Well, it just.
Don't worry about him.
What the fuck's that?
Okay. We're getting updates from our buddy, I think, in Cleveland on the score. Okay. So, anyway, don't ignore him.
Yeah, no, it's just not for me. I mean, most of the people I've seen on the Dragon's Den, I think they're probably all good people, but they come off as wankers. Like, it's just, I mean, it's just, I couldn't do that, you know? But I think it's entertaining, you know?
Sure.
And, but I do get a lot of people, pitching me on stuff, but I also do, like I've told you, I have other things that I do mostly I do real estate, but I have some other things that I'm doing. Like I told you that I have a gem investment business too. Right? I've told you I go to Sri Lanka and
yes, I know that. I just don't know if we've said it on air. So anyway, yeah.
No, a bunch of things. Like I've got some big things that I do, and I've got little things that I do that kind of, you know, contribute in some way. They're fun to do.
Can we, for fun, starting next week, pitch you ideas?
Yeah.
Well, like from Bilal to whatever the co-host might be, because I think that will be a fun way to see what Brad Lamb thinks. And they might be, you know, some might be idiotic or some might be legit. Because I want kind of like your visionary, your business mind to literally tell us to fuck off. That's so dumb, or maybe go, you know what, maybe actually let's talk about this a little more.
Sure, if you like.
Yeah, I think it'd be funny for like, you know, because you know you come in here and it's like you know some shit. So like, you know, there's a lot of people out there who could use these little ideas to know that if a real investor might actually want, I'm actually being serious, like might actually take that as a serious investment.
Sure. Okay,
cool. Mark, do you have anything on you now that you want to pitch? No, okay.
I'm actually working on a one-man show where I'm a multi-millionaire serial inventor. And I pitch the audience like 30 inventions that I've come up with, because I used to do jokes about kind of like this was like before Dragon's Den, and I used to pitch inventions, and one of them was actually the Bluetooth glove where you can talk like this. And then a year later, someone actually patented it from when it aired on TV. And I don't think that someone stole it. It's a very common thought, but it's a funny concept for a one-man show where my life went downhill after. And then I'm giving kind of like a Tony Robbins, what's his name, Steve Jobs speech on how I got back on top. And then so I talk about just stupid inventions throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, well, what's one? I would love to hear one now.
A wireless dog leash, where it's like it goes like a wristband. And then, it starts off as a glove, and then it goes to the dog's collar. But then it turns out that the guy in the testing of it, he kind of answered the phone, and then choked his dog out. And then so they had to change it to a band. So when you pull your hand back, it just slowly tightens the dog's collar a bit, just exactly like a leash, but without having a leash. Well, and then digital wedding bands.
Do you like that, Brad?
No.
This is good though. Okay. This is good. This is the tough love I need right now. Okay. Digital wedding bands, which are GPS based, and they also monitor heart rate, which turns out that a lot more people, I guess, in the story, a lot more people cheat than there should be. It's stupid stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's about in the show there's about like 15, and I have like over 30. Oh, did they hit each other?
No, it looks like a double.
We're watching Jays. Yeah. Nice. We got a hit. We're giving you updates here. What is the score, Bilal? What's the
I think
score?
it's 3-0.
It's 3-0. Let's take a call from Cleveland. Brad, stick around. You're not in a rush, are you? No. We're just hanging out watching the game. We got Chris McNeil at reflog_18. By the way, Brad J. Lamb's at TorontoCondos.com. You've been listening to him. Make sure use them as your prime realtor, okay, when you're buying or selling a home. There's more than just the development side. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you guys doing?
Well, now that I'm turning my head because the screen is behind me because I got to focus on the show at hand, I'm not doing well at all.
Yeah, I'll tell you who's got the best pitch. I heard you guys talking about pitching up there and pitching different ideas. The best pitch right now in Canada was Ryan Merritt. He just left the game. Up 3-0, the Indians are right at the moment.
Yeah, dude, he came in. He's doing well. Do you guys know who he is in Cleveland now?
No, he's gone.
He's now legend, but yeah, he's done. Just relieved him, but he's legend in Cleveland. We just became aware of him here right before the game, but now he's a legend.
Is that the longest he's ever pitched in a game?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
Wow, I didn't realize
so
that.
It doesn't take much to be a legend in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So all the barbs you want to. We're still up 3-0 right now. Loving it.
Are the Jays doing anything?
No, not really. They had a hard time with Merritt in there. We'll see now that we go to the pen what happens. But hopefully we go to Andrew Miller. We'll just leave him out there for a while and bring home a victory for Cleveland.
Yeah, you'll be fucked in the World Series, though. Okay, you're burning through all those arms. Well, let's hope you don't get there. Keep us up to date. Thanks for calling, Chris. We appreciate it, dude.
All right. Thanks, guys. Go
All right.
Tribes.
Talk to you, Chris from Cleveland. Is Cleveland a nice city, Brad?
Cleveland is I'll tell you what, I went to Cleveland at the pit of its decline, the recent decline. It's sort of in the 2010-11 to see a basketball game. It was when LeBron was still there, so it's 2010 or 11?
Like before he came back.
Before he went to Miami and then came back, yeah. And it was a city in decline for sure. It was fun. They have two districts. They have like the Flats, I think, and there's an area called the Warehouse District, and there's just fun stuff to do. But it was a poor city in decline. It's come back a lot. And, this stuff's great for Cleveland. Like, it really is. They call it the mistake by the lake, right? But it's the very unfair characterization of a city. It's got some great things.
They're super loyal to each other. Like, it's kind of cool getting it. I didn't realize how small it was. It's only like 350,000 people, essentially.
Well, a lot of Tier 2 cities band together. So, for instance, since the recession ended and there's been a resurgence in Cleveland, a lot of people that left Cleveland have come back to do things like breweries and restaurants and high-tech stuff, and it's actually got quite a loyal, expats, not the right word, but they're the people that have left and come back, and they're rebuilding that city.
Yeah, I like that about. I feel like Toronto's getting too big sometimes. Like I like the connection you can have.
Toronto's is a big, amazing conglomerate now. Conglomerate, what am I saying?
Well,
cosmopolitan city.
They're basically like a conglomerate, the way they run it. No.
Yes.
Well, Brad, thank you very much for being here. We'll sorry, I know the Jays are going on, but we'll start pitching you next week, okay, with some ideas.
All right.
Brad J. Lamb.
The Todd Shapiro Show. Turn up your speakers, especially if you're over 65. SiriusXM 168, Canada Laughs.